Since some of you guys wanted to see a short explanation on how to use curves, I wanted to show you real quick. There's more than one way to apply curves to your image, but I wanted to keep this quick, so I'm just going to focus on my preferred way. So let's get started. We will first go to this symbol down here, click on it and click on curves, which opens up a new layer that says curves, and then it opens up this window. What you basically have to know about curves is that the x-axis down here represents the values in your image, and the left areas represent the dark areas, and the right side represents the bright areas of the image. And what you have to keep in mind is that if you drag it up, it will get brighter, and if you drag down, it will get darker. The y-axis represents the brightness. So what we usually do, well, what I usually do is I like to increase the contrast in my image. So I will go usually around here. I don't want to manipulate the extreme highlights just yet. So I will go here and increase the bright areas of my image. But as you can see, the dark areas have also brightened because of how the curves work. But I can just click on this area and add a point that I can individually drag. So I can drag down the shadows, which will, as you can see, make for a very contrasty image. For me, it's just a little bit too dark, and so what I like to do usually is I want to brighten up the extreme shadows, which gives you this faded effect that or moody look that people like very much at the moment. So I want to increase increase the brightness just a little bit, since it's a bit much. And there you have a basic S-curve. We can see the before and after. If you click on this eye, it will reveal the bottom image without the curve. So as you can see, that's what we did so far. But as you know, there's also red, green, and blue in the curves. So what I usually like to do is I go to blue, and as you know, blue is the opposite of yellow. So I like a bluish tone in my shadows, so I will drag it up, which will subtract yellow from my image and add more blue. So if I exaggerate it a bit, you can see that the image gets really blue. I just want a tiny hint of it. And let's say I want less blue in my highlights. So this area represents the bright areas of my image. If I want less blue in my highlights, I will drag this down, and as you can see, the highlights get more yellow because blue is the opposite of yellow. If I take blue away, it will add yellow to my image. I will just do that a little bit. I don't want to exaggerate it. And then you can see there's also green and red. The opposite of green is magenta. So as you can see, if I take green away, it will add magenta to my image, and if I increase green, it will subtract magenta and the image will look more green. Usually I like to add a hint of magenta in my shadows, which I do right here, just 1 or 2 from the input, and I leave this as is usually. And red is the opposite of cyan, so if I take red away, it adds cyan to my image. Same here. And I think the image has a very reddish tone to it, maybe a little too much. So I will decrease the red a little bit. As you can see, if I exaggerate it, the shadows become cyan. That's what I don't want, so I just leave it at like a 4. And basically with that, it's done. If you see the before and after, you can see what a big difference curves can make, and it's a really useful tool in my opinion. Of course, in this image I would usually pull up the shadows just a bit so I don't lose the detail. I usually do that in the camera raw filter because it's just so much easier. So basically I just pull the shadows up a little bit, and that would be the final image. So let's see, before, after, before, after. That's as simple as it is. I hope this helped you guys. It's not a very detailed explanation, but well, I hope you got the basics from that.